Solo leveling continues to freaking slap. We are currently 5 episodes into season 2 of Solo Leveling, and this anime continues to be one of the best new anime of the last few years, and easily one of the best anime of 2025 so far. Hello everyone, I'm Finn. Welcome back to finnfilms. Join me today as once again we are breaking down everything that happened in the most recent episode of Solo Leveling Season 2, Episode 5, an episode where orcs attack a group of hunters. This guy gets his freaking arm cut off, and an S-ranked hunter smells Jinwoo? So, last time on Solo Leveling, our boy Jinwoo went in for a hunter reevaluation test, as he decided that it was time he finally revealed himself and his new hunter powers to the world. As Jinwoo has accepted that in order to continue to go stronger, he must tackle more difficult dungeons, more difficult gates and portals, so he will need to gain a higher rank in order to get access to those. This hunter reevaluation goes about how you would expect it to, and our main protagonist, our OP boy Jinwoo, breaks the machine, being unofficially declared as the 10th S-ranked hunter in Korea. Jinwoo instantly becoming the hottest free agent on the market, getting recruited from every single guild, from the White Tiger Guild to the Hunters Guild, as well as the Hunters Association, the faction of the government that regulates hunters, but he turns them down. Jinwoo then must wait to return for his official reevaluation so he can officially be declared as the newest S-ranked hunter in Korea. As he waits, he decides he wants to sell one of his magical items so he can buy better gear. However, he doesn't want to draw suspicion to himself as to how a lowly hunter, as he is still officially E-ranked, would somehow come into possession of such a powerful magical item. So he decides to go and work for a mining guild that is accompanying a strike team to an A-ranked portal. A strike team that is made up of the Hunters Guild 2 strongest hunters, the S-ranked guild master, who we were introduced to last episode, and his co-guild leader, the S-ranked hunter, Cha Hae-In. Jinwoo's idea is to basically use this kind of mining experience in this A-ranked dungeon as a cover story as to how he got this magical item. Episode 4 ending when Jinwoo ventures off alone to the boss room where he gets caught snooping around by Cha Hae-In. Episode 5 opens right where we left off in episode 4 with Jinwoo getting his hand caught in the cookie jar as he is snooping around the boss room. Jinwoo trying to play it off that he's just this lowly E-ranked hunter who happened to get lost near the boss room, but Cho isn't buying any of it as she noticed something is off about this low-ranked hunter. As Jinwoo walks by her to return back to the miners, she suddenly stops him when, out of nowhere, she smells him, hitting us with what might be the best line and moment of Solo Leveling so far. He doesn't stink. This scene, without any context, is absolutely hilarious. I mean, can you imagine seeing a beautiful woman just running up to some random guy and smelling him? Yeah, that's not weird at all.
You have a poison in your mind, and the fact that you can't see it makes me so sad.
So it is later revealed and referenced in this episode that this hunter, our S-ranked hunter here, Cha Hae-In, has a sensitive nose. Specifically, she has the ability to smell mana or magical power within hunters and monsters. These hunters and monsters all smelling foul and horrible to her. Every hunter except for, well, apparently Jinwoo, which obviously comes as a bit of a shock to her, as he is the first hunter to not smell absolutely horrible to her. Hence why she's basically constantly holding her nose, especially when she's walking around inside of a portal. Yeah, if it isn't apparent, this seems to very much be setting us up for a little bit of a potential romance shipping arc here between Jinwoo, our main OP protagonist boy, and this S-ranked hunter, Cha Hae-In. As later on in this episode, we see that she is very much intrigued by this mysterious hunter, Jinwoo, delving deeper into his identity, where she is then shocked to learn that Jinwoo's file, his hunter file, has been locked away, this likely due to his recent reawakening as a potential new S-ranked hunter. This only spurring on and growing her curiosity and infatuation with Jinwoo. We then see Jinwoo regroup with the other miners who give him the plot kind of info that I just gave you about Hae-In's sense of smell, Jinwoo speculating that it's possibly his role as the player, which could be why he seemingly smells good to her. Jinwoo remembering and thinking back to his encounter with the elf boss in the red portal, who said something similar about the fact that he was unlike any other hunter that they had encountered. The leader of the miners offers Jinwoo a permanent full-time position, but obviously he turns it down. However, he does agree to come back tomorrow to help them in a double gate job for a C-ranked and an A-ranked portal. The next day, Jinwoo helps them easily breeze through this C-ranked dungeon for their mining job, Jinwoo getting a flashback to his kind of younger days at the beginning of Solo Leveling, specifically the friendships that he made back in episode 1, accompanying his fellow hunters into the dungeon. This feeling and these kind of themes further playing into kind of Jinwoo's struggle with his humanity as he has grown stronger as the player throughout Season 2 and Season 1 of Solo Leveling. This is a theme that I've very much touched on specifically throughout all of my Season 2 Solo Leveling videos so far, as once again, we've seen Jinwoo grow stronger throughout this season, as well as take more human lives. And as we've seen him do this, he slowly began to lose touch with his humanity, oftentimes becoming more of almost like a monster than a man. Again, this idea of him as the player, the fact that Jinwoo almost treats the world that everyone else lives in like a video game. There is almost a desensitization, a dehumanization of Jinwoo throughout the series as he has gotten stronger. But in scenes like this, as well as in his relationship with several other hunters, we've seen glimpses of that same sweet, weak boy that we were introduced to in the start of Solo Leveling. Back in the episode, Jinwoo volunteers to accompany the captain Son Kin-hoon and the A-ranked strike team of the Hunters Guild into this A-class dungeon. The miners immediately worrying about his safety, but obviously we know how strong Jinwoo actually is, and that something would have to go horribly wrong for him to be in any real danger. Jinwoo then accompanies the group of 6 A-rank and 3 B-rank hunters into the dungeon, immediately getting a feeling that something is off, that something is not right about this portal, as suddenly the group is ambushed by a band of high orcs. It's always freaking orcs, man. Recently I did a video actually about the evolution of orcs within fantasy media, from this typical like violent fantasy, almost cannon fodder antagonist within fantasy media, to a very much more kind of more nuanced portrayal. For example, is in games like World of Warcraft and in newer editions of Dungeons & Dragons. If you're interested in that, I'll link it in the eye above. I think it's a pretty interesting video, and it's funny how it kind of links into Solo Leveling. This group of powerful orcs attacking the party, overwhelming them with their power and magical strength, as this group of orcs is very much stronger than seemingly any normal, typical band of orcs that these hunters have faced. Just when it looks like the party is going to be overwhelmed and potentially TPK'd, this dude losing his fucking arm, Jinwoo suddenly springs into action, using his invisibility, his stealth skills, to wound as many of these orcs as possible, slowing them down and making them easier for the party to kill. While the party is suspicious that something strange happened as suddenly these orcs became easier to kill and were moving slower, no one seemed to be any wiser that it was this man, who they thought was a lowly E-ranked hunter, who basically just solo saved all of them. Well, no one except for this magic user who, through her powers, was able to see Jinwoo through his stealth ability, though she chooses not to say anything about it, believing that Jinwoo must have had reasons for his actions and reason for why he is not open about how strong he is. The party leader decides to make the smart decision to pull his group out of the portal. However, there is a powerful barrier preventing them from leaving. Seemingly, they are trapped in this dungeon. The magic users trying to dispel this barrier, but they are overwhelmed by its magical power and the curse that was seemingly laid upon it. They all turn in horror as they are confronted by 50 more orcs. One of the orcs approaching the party, a voice being channeled through it, speaking Korean, which shocks everyone, the voice telling them that he is the proud master of orcish curses, a proud, powerful sorcerer named Kargalgan, and he wishes to speak with them. The captain agrees, saying that his party will come and speak with this sorcerer orc. The captain telling Jinwoo that they will launch a last-ditch attack in the boss room, and that he should run and try to escape during the fighting, as it is very likely that the barrier will be lowered once they are fighting the boss. Another one of the hunters gives Jinwoo a will to take to her family, as all of them have seemingly come to terms with the likelihood that they are not going to leave this portal alive. In a very interesting scene, Jinwoo gets flashbacks to the duo dungeon from episode 1 and the types of hunters that he had encountered, specifically cowards who all abandoned Jinwoo alone to die. But these people are different. Though they face a more powerful force, they have all come together to try and fight, even if it means their eventual death. Jinwoo being impressed by how the top hunters of the Hunters Guild operate. Outside the portal, we see the S-ranked hunter Cha Hae-In, who has been searching for Jinwoo. She questions the mining captain, who tells her that Sung Hunter is inside the portal, assisting the A-ranked strike team. We then flash back over inside the portal to a massive great hall filled with hundreds of orcs. Sitting at the end of the hall in a great throne surrounded by armor-clad orcs is the orc sorcerer, the mage, Kargalgan, who bids the hunters a warm welcome, and our episode ends. So if it isn't obvious by how much I glazed this show or by how much content I've made over this show, I'm a big fan of this anime, and surprise, surprise, a big portion of the rest of the anime community at large is so too. Now, it's not like Solo Leveling is like the best anime of all time or some kind of revolutionary like new take or new genre of anime or anything like that. No, I think Solo Leveling is just really good at doing like a select few things and very much staying in its lane. For example, banger fight scenes, a sick, awesome art style, very much dark fantasy themes, as well as introducing a series of mysteries and very much calculated plot reveals throughout the story, throughout the seasons, very similar to something like Attack on Titan, which keeps fans coming back over and over again every episode for more answers. I mean, at its core, Solo Leveling is very much a kind of classic power fantasy, with trapped in a video game vibes, as well as fantasy isekai-esque themes. But to me, it's really kind of the unique way that it blends and uses all of these themes, which very much sets it apart from like all of the other fantasy isekai slop or like knockoff trapped in a video game series that are very much wishing they could be Sword Art Online Season 1. I think one of the things that makes Solo Leveling so good is how it uses a lot of these fantasy themes, which are very popular right now, which we've seen with the oversaturation of fantasy isekai, but how it very much like sets these fantasy themes within our real world instead of within a fantasy world, which to me makes the stakes feel a lot higher and makes it feel like a lot more real and a lot more relatable. I mean, yes, our main character is this OP badass who is constantly overcoming the odds, which does make it hard to believe that he is ever truly in any real danger, but they very much get around this by surrounding him with other characters that very much are in real danger. For example, like in the opening episodes of Season 2 within the Red Gate, or like how we see in Episode 5 in the upcoming Episode 6 with this strike team in this portal with these orcs. To me, it's the story's ability to make us care about these characters, and the fact that Jinwoo as well very much seems to care about the safeties of these characters is really where it shines, and how they're able to create like a kind of consistent tension, create consistent stakes within many of these fight scenes. Again, outside of the fight scenes as well as the obvious sick animations, I think the main thing that really has fans hyped about Solo Leveling is the many mysteries and plot twists within this story. For example, the mystery of the system, the mystery of Jinwoo's role as the player and his resurrection that we saw early on in Season 1, the mystery of the monsters themselves and the gates that they come from, specifically their random appearance years ago, as well as the major plot reveal that we got a few episodes ago with the introduction of Jinwoo's freaking father. Again, I likened this to something like Attack on Titan, which very much has this same kind of plot reveal, like mysteries very much revealed throughout the course of the mini seasons, and I think that this is very much a big kind of factor as to why Solo Leveling is so popular, as you never know what new piece of information and new plot reveal is going to happen within every single episode. That, and obviously everyone is just a sucker seemingly for a classic kind of like power fantasy. Again, I absolutely love this anime. I've read a decent amount of the manhwa, and I've been really impressed with how they've managed to adapt it into the animated format, still keeping a lot of the quality of the manhwa and the many, crazy action scenes, while still, really doing a good job with pacing this show. There's really not that much filler within Solo Leveling. You could say that maybe the last two episodes have kind of been a filler, but in many ways, they're more of like a setup for the next kind of arc that is to come within Season 2 of Solo Leveling. I think at its core, Solo Leveling just does a really good job at like being what it is, not trying to be something different, just executing like really cool fight scenes and a kind of fantasy, like dark fantasy themes, just doing that really, really well, and adding a little bit of flavor with all these sorts of mysteries and plot reveals on top of it. I think that as long as it continues to do these things well, Solo Leveling will continue to be popular and be beloved by fans. As always, though, guys, with these videos, these are just my thoughts and opinions, so feel free to let me know yours in the comment section down below. What did you think of this week's episode of Solo Leveling? As well, if you did enjoy this video or you did learn something new, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as that is the easiest way to support me, and it really does go a long way in putting these videos into the algorithm. If you did enjoy this video, then why don't you check out some of my other anime content on screen now, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Peace, love, Auto.